Hi, my name is Joe Bastillos. I'm the course director for the EMD TMS program, and this is a quick behind-the-scenes walkthrough of Digication, an online education portal. And here is a basic screen that you see here at digication.com. Once you sign up for an account, and I've signed up for a free account, then you are greeted with this screen where you can log in, and you see the four basic parts of it. ePortfolios would be the forward-facing website with the static pages that normally each teacher needs to create with, the class syllabus and those sorts of things. And then the My Courses section here is where you upload all the assignments, and this is where the CMS, the course management system, actually really resides. And then you have here a My Communities. The creators of Digication wanted very much to embrace the whole sense of a website is not just something where you visit to get information, but a place you go to interact with individuals. And so they have this My Community section, which is basically a discussion board that isn't specifically connected to necessarily a course or a particular assignments. And then here we have your basic calendar idea here. So let's go ahead and go to the preview section. So this is the website, the portfolio that I set up for my middle school class or courses. And so having this allowed me to put information online and not have to create a website, from scratch. And so I have syllabuses or syllabi for all of the courses that I taught. And this would be the information that would normally be printed out and sent home. So I have it here. And then also for the journalism class, when I did run an online newspaper, I could go ahead and put a link here to that online newspaper. So all that information was created right here. So let's take a look at our settings. So if you were to create, you're going to create a website, then this is the information that you'd be met with, the name of how you want it to be looked at and searched in the ePortfolio, the web address you want, contact information, and then all the sorts of different things that you want to personalize the website. So I could have added a footer image. I have a header image, and then of course my image. And do I want it in the directory? Digication puts all their websites in the directory so it's easily found, and then who can view it, who can, and that sort of thing. Very, very important. And let's go back to, and then if I wanted to, let's so when you edit edit something here, basically it's your basic WYSIWYG. I went ahead and these are links. So I created links for these things, and I could go ahead and create an image. Now at the time there was when I edited this or created this, there were some limitations as to how much graphical stuff you could add to it. So there were those limitations, but basically it kept me from having to create a website from scratch. And so that is the ePortfolio portion of Digication. So let's take a look at the courses section. So if you were going to create a course, very much set up so you could very much set it up like that. And also I would generally add information to help it keep it organized for me. So I would put in my, what period it is, and then if I had a course number, short description, your basic calendar information. They do, in this course management system, there is a grade book, attendance and discussions. We generally had a separate, because this is not part of the school system, I'm kind of doing this on my own, then generally attendance would be something that I wouldn't have to do in this particular thing. So let's go ahead and take a look at course that I created. passed. So normally when you start up a new course, it's going to ask you to add students, because what's a course without students? And so this is the screen you are greeted with. Create new user. One of the problems that I ran into right away was there's a public school system. I'm working with middle school students. Most of them do not have email, and even if they did have email, they wouldn't be able to access their account from behind the school firewall, because we were doing this in the classroom. So for a while there, I didn't use the system, and then I discovered that they did have an option to manually input first name, last name, username, passwords, and that sort of thing, and then set up whether it's a student or faculty, someone who could modify the course. In this free version of Digication, there is no mass import. I couldn't use I can't take it in from an Excel spreadsheet. You have to do it one at a time. But then again, this is a free service. So even though I had 5 or 6 classes, classes, kind of a bit of a pain, it was still worth it to do it this way versus like I just showed you, creating my own front side website and then the whole course management side of it. So this is one thing we tolerated. Let's see here. So they do have a grade book in here. And I could manage the grades using this particular view. There's another view where I could do it inside of looking at the actual student work, which is, I would think, a bit more easy. If I was, if it were an external project where I had, all the grades listed on a sheet, then this would be obviously the way to input the grades. And then your traditional point settings. All of the assignments in the course management system are called discussions. What I tended to do was to give them categories, because even though they were listed as discussions, I wanted, your basic, I would put the daily agenda there. If there was an announcement, particular assignments would need to be flagged, discussion boards, homework projects, and those sorts of things. So I used this category system to organize it that way. And then, of course, there was the actual way that it was laid out, and I would lay it out this particular way. I focused, when I used this, I used it in this fashion. I don't know if the paid version allows for more of a Ajax-y thing where if I needed to change this and I needed to reorder it, I could reorder it. They basically had this particular more old school kind of system to do it. Also, I didn't organize my course using the calendar. I used essentially this. So I haven't explored that part, but this was the way that I primarily got things organized. And so here's listing all. Here's all the work from beginning to end. And, I would just basically, keep it in this order. If creating a new discussion, so here's where you put the title. I almost always put the date in so we can keep it kind of relatively organized. And then the name of the assignment. And then whatever other information I needed to put in here. If I put in a URL, then and we'll see this in a moment, when the students were looking at, the URL was active, so they could click it and go to wherever they needed to go to. And then down here, attach files. If I needed to add graphics, I could add the graphics this way. And as we'll see in a moment, and some of the examples, there was a way for me to kind of go from the printed text into the graphic portion and just let it flow as a complete assignment there. So here's the attached files, and then setting the permissions, who's able to view it, who's not able to view it. So let's go ahead and look at an assignment. It is look at project. And so here's one particular assignment. Here is what the student would see. So here's the text, introduction, my information. And then I wanted, these are basically JPEGs that I added, and it just inserted right in there into the flow. There you go, all the way down. And then I had further information that I wanted to add. So what I basically did is I use a product called Notebook, and I went ahead and wrote out the information and then captured it, made it into a JPEG, and continued with the information because I knew that I needed these examples here on the side. So that's what the student would look at. this is what it would look like to me. So here's the text information that I added, and then here is all the graphic elements that I added. Okay. And and that's basically it for that. Okay, so let's go back. And then when a student finished, then they would go ahead and they would see, so this is what they see, they would hit submit reply, and then they would upload their assignment. So it's very, very simple this way. So for for the student, they hit this is my project, and their name was automatically added to it, and then they would go ahead and add their stuff, and then they would go ahead and save it, and that's what we saw. Now, one thing that I did not show is this section here, is that I could go ahead and whatever this was, I could do it to multiple categories if it followed under that. And then, okay, who can see this? And then what we would traditionally call our push-pull dates. And then the whole grading system is built in. Other students can see other replies, and I usually left that open. Make it part of the grade book, and wanting the students to be able to see their own grades is all included in that. So, let me go back to that particular example again. Oops, that's not it. Yeah. Okay, so here's the student information, or the student went ahead and turned in their work. And then if I wanted to, boom, put the grade right there. I don't have to go to any other module to do this. So, very, very easy system to use for that particular example. One other thing let me show you is linking out. So here is another project that I gave them. There's their instructions. And then part of this required, I wanted them to read a Wikipedia article, and then I had created a online quiz that, I can't remember the top of my head what the name of the, I'll add it to the notes here later on. But I had a product that I could create online quizzes. So students would go ahead and click, and then they would read the Wikipedia article. So after reading the Wikipedia article, then they would come back to the instructions and click on the link here. And it would open up the online quiz that I had set up for them. And which is my name. And they begin to take the quiz. And the product that created this, by the way, is called Quiz Press by Sol Robots, S-O-L Robots. And so they would go ahead and take the quiz. So I'm going to zoom through this. And then I had instructed them to save a copy onto their desktop. And there it is. I'd go ahead and save that copy. And this is what you'd see. So, and then obviously I could enter the grade right here. So it was very, very simple. Everything was very, very self-contained that way. So a very, very good system to be using. Again, it just kind of does all the work for you here as far as one of these sorts of things. So this was Digication. Thank you.